Hello, everybody. It's January the 24th, 2025. Welcome to Into the Fire. Coming to you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. My name is Jason White, your host, and I am honored to be here. I'm not looking for a bunch of comments, but it is my 55th birthday today, so I am officially a senior citizen, believe it or not. How exciting that is. Sorry we're running a little bit late. Being that I am a senior citizen, I can tell you my forte is not electronics. That is definitely not something that I'm exceptionally good at. So I've ran into just a little bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully we're going to be able to hear me, and we're going to have a lot less noise this time around than last week, which I apologize for. Tonight's guest is going to be a really exciting guy. This guy is JC Connelly, also known as Coach JC. He is he's an inspiration. I thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steph. I do appreciate the fact that I am relatively healthy at 55. I've never really had any injuries at work. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to be a part of your guys' evening tonight. And I think JC's going to realize that we have a lot of regulars that come to us each and every week, and it's awesome. If you have not checked out my YouTube page, please do. It's Detective Jason White. Check it out. There's a lot of different podcasts and so forth on there. There's a lot of neat stuff on there that you can check out for free. I don't charge for you guys to check out any of those videos, and I put some neat things on there that I think that you would enjoy. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I ran across some technical difficulties, and I hope that we're not going to have any for the rest of the show. Next week, we're not going to be here next week. I'll repeat this at the end just for those of you that may not remember this. Next week, I'm going to actually be speaking in Fort Smith, Arkansas. There you at that event right there. That's going to be at the United States Marshals Museum located in Fort Smith. We sold out at 250 seats for this event, and it's going to a good cause there. I think it was $10 a head to get into this thing, and they ended up selling out at that. And then I had such a demand that I actually reached out to the museum, and they went ahead and got 50 more seats. So I'm honored to at least have 300 people. This is like the size of the crowds that I speak to at when I'm speaking at a conference, a major conference somewhere in the country. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I think that people are going to get a lot out of it, and it'll be just a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. It's not all doom and gloom. It'll be a lot of fun stuff too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on JC right quick, because I didn't. Thank you, Kathleen. I see that you're wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate it. Let's bring on JC. I'm not going to read your bio. I'm going to ask you to just tell us about yourself because of these technical difficulties. He's the man. I'm honored to have you as a friend of mine, JC. I really am. And I want you to tell your wife I said hello. His wife, Jody, she's actually kind of like she was my personal trainer when I would go there, because I was the late crew. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, JC. I want people to know who you are.
Man, first of all, I'm super excited. I am super excited, Jason, to be a guest on your show, first of all. So thank you for that. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And thank you for being a friend. And what an honor, man. We get to celebrate your birthday. This is amazing, man. So
yeah.
That as well, man. I'm just super stoked. You know me and my passion is serving people. And a big part of that is what we do in the nonprofit Fit First Responders, man. And so just a Cliff Note version, I grew up in the great state of New Jersey, raised by a single mom. And, my dad left when I was 8 years old. Man, Jason, we saw a lot of pain and suffering. Grew up extremely poor from a monetary perspective. But my mom was an amazing woman, working 4 jobs, just instilling crazy faith into us. And but I'll never forget, for us, when I say extremely poor, we didn't get to go to the grocery store that often. On Sunday when it was time to get groceries, we went to local food banks and food pantries. And if we got to go to the grocery store, man, it was like going to Disney World for me and my sister. But we were always so embarrassed by, when you had to go up to the cashier to check out at the end, because my friends and their parents would be paying the cashier for their groceries with check or cash. And my mom would be using food stamps. And so I tell you that because I just want you to hear my heart. If you're listening, you're a viewer, you're a listener. I don't want you to think, hey, this guy's just sitting up here and everything's okay. I have a purpose, and I'm going to bring a lot of energy tonight, just who I am. And some of you are going to say, man, what is this guy drinking? What kind of drugs does he take? I'm high on life because I'm so driven by what we do. And at that young age, I'll never forget it. We moved multiple times, Jason, and there was a season of life when I was 8 years old that we lived in a shelter. And if you're not familiar with what a shelter is, it's group housing. You live with multiple families. And I'll never forget it. I'm on the top of a bunk bed. My sister's 18 months older than me. She's on the lower part of a bunk bed, and I'm crying and I'm weeping. And I'm just asking the question, why? Why us? Why can't I have the Michael Jordan sneakers? Why did my dad have to leave? Why do we have to experience all this pain and suffering? And I'll never forget it. I didn't know what it was at that age, Jason, but at 8 years old, I knew. I had this like hunger inside of me, but also this anger. And I knew for the rest of my life, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how I would do it, but I knew I was called to help people win and to help people stop the pain and suffering. And that brought us to where we are today. Obviously, there's a lot more to the story. I ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma from New Jersey with a big opportunity to play basketball at the Division I level at a school called Oral Roberts University. That was a culture shock. Jersey boy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And freshman year, Jason, I got a young girl on campus pregnant. That wasn't okay. It's a religious school. They said, hurry up and get married. We got married. We were divorced in 8 months. I ended up in a custody battle, over $400,000 of debt, suicidal, depressed, down and out. In the fight of my life to be a dad, man. And I did some strategic things at that time, was able to go create a new story, become the youngest strength coach in the nation, studying psychology and human behavior. You know, fast forward to today, my daughter, I got full custody when she was 10 years old, written 6 books, speak on some of the largest stages. But we're here today to talk about Fit First Responders.
Hey, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Let me stop you real quick, JC, because that's right. Fit First Responders, as a matter of fact, just to the listeners that keep messaging me on the backside, go to KGR or go to Rumble and go to KGRA right now. If you just type Rumble KGRA, you're going to see this episode right there and hit the play button and you're in. It's super simple, I promise you. Because I want you to join us. I want you to be in here. I'm getting messages like crazy and it shouldn't be this difficult. I know every week we have a little thing. We're getting it ironed out, I promise. Hey, JC, there's one thing that I want you to tell people, and this is something that I want everybody to listen to. You offer a free book for first responders.
Yeah.
And so, Amanda, there is a link that I had sent you that I think if you can find that, if you're a first responder, you can reach out to this link and you can get a free book that they're going to send your way. That's the book that I have. And that's the book that you get actually when you start at Fit First Responders. Let's talk briefly about, and you know what? I got to tell you something, JC. I'm going to share something with you that I've never really shared. Usually, I grew up poor too. I grew up in a travel trailer when I was a kid. When we moved from Los Angeles, we moved back up to Northern California, and we lived in a 19-foot travel trailer. Imagine that. I mean, and there was rattlesnakes up there, man. And it was. I mean, in the summertime, I'd sleep out in a tent because it was just cooler out there than being cooped up in that travel trailer. So I can relate somewhat. I think it was probably better for me than it was for you in a way. I mean, I think that would be really, really challenging having all those other people there. I didn't have that distraction. It was just kind of me, hanging out with the family. But man, what a story. Talk about Fit. You came to Tulsa and you started Fit First Responders. And you came around, I think you started, and correct me if I'm wrong at any point, but you kind of used the SWAT team for us, and you used them somewhat as a pilot program to kind of check it out. And then you started going around to the different places throughout our department and spreading the word about your facility, which, by the way, it's $25 a month. And I know that you're on the verge of expanding. So what was it that really got you? I know you train pro athletes. You've all kinds of pro athletes. What got you interested in doing that? What was it that just really inspired you to be a part of it?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. And so I'll tell you this. it takes me back to when I came to Oral Roberts University from New Jersey, and I got that young girl on campus pregnant. I'm $400,000 in debt. I'm suicidal. I'm down and out, depressed, in this identity crisis, threw away my basketball opportunity. And my daughter was in Minnesota. I'm in Tulsa, Jason. I'm driving every other weekend, all right, 12 hours up to Minnesota in a custody battle, fighting to be a dad at 19 years old. All right, I'm 43 today. And I'll never forget it. I would drive every other weekend. And there was a specific weekend I drove up. I was down and out, hopeless, helpless, depressed. And I drove up there 12 hours. I get to the local pickup spot where you do that whole exchange when you're doing parenting time. And it's at Walmart in Minnesota, 12-hour drive. And they never show up with my daughter. So down and out, hopeless, depressed, in the fight of my life to be a dad. All I want to do is see my daughter, Jason. And so I didn't know what to do. Hopeless and helpless. I got back in my little Nissan Sentra, and I'm driving back to Tulsa. And it's late at night. I'm going through the dark roads of Iowa. It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. And I started to get in one of those conversations I had with myself where I'm contemplating life, man. And I'm going over 100 miles an hour. Okay. It's dark roads through the dark streets of Iowa on the highway. And I'm weeping, I'm crying. And I'm starting to tell myself, your daughter would be better off without you. You're useless. You threw away your basketball opportunity. You can't see her. And I start to push the pedal to the metal. And now I'm going over 100 miles an hour. And I'm contemplating taking my life, right? Talking myself into, should I do it? Don't do it. And I'm swerving off the side of the road like a madman. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear sirens and I get pulled over. And this police officer, state trooper at Iowa, walks up to my window of my car door, young man, down and out, hopeless, crying, and he knocks on the window. And the first thing out of his mouth when I rolled down the window, Jason, was this: "What are you trying to do? Kill yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that would be great right now." And he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And for the next 5 minutes, he heard me out. And when you're just desperate, you have diarrhea of the mouth, you just tell him everything. And then he said this, and this is what birthed Fit First Responders 15 years later. He said this to me. He said, "You don't know me, I don't know you, young man. But what I do know is that everything you're going through right now, it all had to happen." And I remember my emotion was anger at first. I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm $400,000 and I can't see my daughter." He said, "Just trust me. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Now, I need you to promise you're going to get back to Tulsa safe. You're going to drive the speed limit. And one day you're going to realize everything you're going through, it all had to happen." And this guy let me off. I didn't realize till years later, like, he could have impounded my car. He could have arrested me. And I drove back to Tulsa that evening. I got up to go to school, came home, and I opened up a book by Tony Robbins, and it said the meaning of anything in life only has the meaning you choose to give it. And what that police officer said to me radically changed my life. And in 2015, fast forward, I'm interacting with the Tulsa police, the SWAT team, and they just said, "Hey, we want to train like your athletes do, man. We want to be in top shape." And we bring them through for 8 weeks, and we radically changed their health. They lost weight. They were doing stuff fitness-wise. But at the end of the 8 weeks, the stories that we heard were way more powerful than "I lost 30 pounds. Guys were talking about suicide. They were talking about divorce. They were talking about substance abuse. And I started to realize, wait a second. These are the finest and the bravest, and they're dealing with all these things. And I started to realize the things they're dealing with are taking them away from showing up on purpose with a purpose and being their best. What if that police officer back in 2003 wasn't purpose-driven, wasn't fit for duty, fit for life? What if he just did his job and ignored a young man and said, "You know what, I'm arresting you, I'm pounding your car"? No. I believe because he was fit for duty and fit for life that he took the time to hear me out and say something that would radically change my life. And in 2015, that's when the mission was on my heart to say, "You know what, we're going to start something to change this epidemic that's going on." A lot of first responders are not showing up for fit for duty, fit for life. The stats don't lie, right? 62 to 64 years old, mortality rate, suicide out to all-time high, obesity, divorce, substance abuse. So the morale is at an all-time low. And we just set on a mission to absolutely serve those that serve us. And now we've been going strong since 2015, Jason.
Yeah, man, that's epic, dude. That really is. That's epic. People don't realize how many lives. I mean, I can tell you, I don't even know how many lives that you've changed, JC, but I'm going to tell you, for me, you changed my life a couple of different times. I mean, you transformed me into a beast. And it didn't take much, but it took effort on my part. You know what I mean? And so I've seen a lot of cops that, and not just cops, I think one of the biggest benefits of your program is the fact that For me, I got to know people that were working on ambulances, firefighters. I got to meet police officers that I would never get to meet. I mean, I really wouldn't. And not just them, but their spouses and dispatchers and people like that were all coming together and just kind of sharing that time with one another. And you became really, I mean, I still am close to people. When I see that Fit First Responders logo on somebody's car, or I see it on a hoodie at a store, you know, I know that they're like family. They really are. And
Yep.
I know that. So you're on the verge. I happen to notice this on your website that you're on the verge of major expansion to tons of states throughout the United States, from Alabama to, and I know that that's a process. It's not going to happen right away, but I know that you're expanding with this. Is that something that they could, for the general citizen, and a lot of them that listen to this, and they listen to us from all over the country and so forth, for the general citizen, they can actually join your program too, right? It's not just for first responders, it's for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. We are expanding. We have an online program now. Our Fit for Duty, Fit for Life is our national. Fit First Responders is Tulsa, where our headquarters is. But we do have our Win All Day, which is for our general population, right? And so we do help the general population as well. But yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, here's the deal, Jason. I mean, as a first responder, the thing that I've discovered is there's a lot of first responders every single day as high performers. They're showing up to the job and they're in a battle, right? They might be lacking drive, energy, passion, purpose, true abundance and fulfillment, right? And it's a war. It's a war we face every single day just as citizens, right? Trying to perform, right, show up and give everything to the world and then compound that with everything a first responder sees, right? And so I think if you're listening right now and you're not a first responder, I would just encourage you, how can you be a part of Fit First Responders? Yes, you can give from a monetary perspective, you can give your time, but also the cool part about that, everybody that does, our partners, they can actually jump in and get the same Fit for Duty, Fit for Life program based around the 5 pillars: focus, fitness, faith, family, finances, that the first responders are getting. So it's cool. They could work out close to a first responder and get the same Fit for Duty program as their partner of ours. So yes, there's a part for anybody to be involved.
And say those 5 pillars again so everybody can hear that, because that's really what this whole program, it's not just working out. It's a lot more than that. And what are they again, JC?
Yeah, the 5 pillars are 5 F's, and the 5 F's of Fit for Duty, Fit for Life. It's focus, which is all about mental and emotional health. It's fitness, which is about your physical health. It's faith, which is about your spiritual health. And then it's family, which is your family health, winning in relationships. And then it's finances. It's your financial health. And we have partners in each of those areas that help inspire, empower, but also coach and first responders in all 5 of those areas so they can be fit for duty. Yes, that's physically, mentally ready to do a job, but just as importantly, fit for life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, that's somebody had wrote in here that they really should listen to this. Could change your life. And they're absolutely right. And I mean, it doesn't take much either. I mean, literally you go 3 hours a week, like an hour every other day through the weekdays. And it changes your DNA, man. I mean, it's just unbelievable how much just that short amount of time. It's like 50 minutes that you're working out, and then afterwards, you know, everybody has a chance to talk or to kind of speak about what's going on in their lives if they choose to. And that's another thing that's just fascinating to me is the comfort level that people get to, where they're willing to share, man, some really personal triumphs and stuff that they went through. And it's kind of nice to be around people that are on that journey. And you've also had some competitions it's all in fun, but man, you've given away at least one truck. You've had competitions where, I mean, I was a part of that. I knew I wasn't going to win anything, but it wasn't about that. It was the transformation that came with it in many different ways. And man, my wife she couldn't believe it. I mean, the changes that were made, and I need to get back over there is what I need to do, but that needs to happen. But it does cost, it's very inexpensive. It's just $25 a month, and you can't get that at any fitness facility. I know. And then the other thing that I'll mention this real quick, because I want you to jump in there and talk more about this. But the other thing is, for me, I'm kind of one of those people that if I joined a gym and nobody's sitting there saying anything to me, man, I'm not coming back. And I hear some people saying, oh, they're motivated, they're yelling, and no, you're yelling in a good way. Come on, let's go, you can do it. And you inspire people to do a lot more than what they think that their bodies can do. Your bodies are a lot tougher than what we think that they are, and that you can keep pushing through. You're also a motivational speaker, and you speak elsewhere. Actually, you spoke for the Trump campaign in 2016. I think I saw that, and I think there's a picture of that, Amanda. But to a huge audience, how did that even come about? How did they even get to know who you were?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. In 2016, Fit First Responders was going strong, and Trump in the campaign, his people were coming to Tulsa at the Mabee Center, and at the same time they were coming, we were going through a lot of situations in our nation with defunding the police and just a ton of crazy stuff with police. And I made a statement to the news. The news called me. Local news station called me and said, hey, you run this program of first responders, you work with them every single day. What do you think about this and what's being said in the world? And I said, whoa, we'll never make America great again if we don't bring back the dignity and the respect to law enforcement like we used to have. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. My grandfather was the chief of police and the head president of the FOP. I grew up with respect for police, but also a fear, right? And that's been taken away. And so I make this bold statement and say, yeah, Trump wants to make America great again. Here's how you do it. You bring back the respect to police officers. And their campaign saw that and said, man, this is powerful. Can we get to know you? And then it was too late in Tulsa for me to speak. And they loved what I had to say. We had a conversation with his people, and they're like, hey, can we fly you out to Little Rock, Arkansas, in 2 days? So me, my wife, my daughter, get a jet. They fly us out to Little Rock, Arkansas. And I was blessed and honored, just privileged to speak and open up for him in front of 14,000 people when he was on the campaign. And that was just an honor. And also not just open up for him, but to inspire and encourage the people in the audience of the importance of serving and valuing our first responders. And I tell everybody this, like the stories that you have and first responders have of ridiculous courage and sacrifice and unwavering dedication to run in to the most challenging, hard situations when most of us as first responders are the situations we run from. You are the men and women who run towards danger while we as citizens seek safety, right? And so I challenge everybody. You can do something to applaud their bravery. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's a handshake. I don't care who you are. If you walk past a veteran, a military personnel, a first responder, you should stop and acknowledge them and say, thank you. We take it for granted until we have to call 911. How many of you listening today, if you're not a first responder, woke up today and the first thing on your mind was your safety? Oh my gosh, I can't leave my house. No, you don't even think of that. You go to work, you get in your car, you go to churches, you go to the park to play with your kids because of our finest and our bravest, our men and women that every single day in our communities put their life on the line. And a lot of times we don't show value until we have to call 911 and we need them. So I was honored to share that message and say, you know what? I don't care how you support our first responders, but if we're going to make America great again, it starts with bringing back the dignity, the honor, and the respect to our first responders. And we got to start to value their service beyond just words. So if it's money, if it's love, whatever it is, but we got to start to show them that them putting their lives on the line, we stand with them shoulder to shoulder. And that's how we're going to make a difference. And I believe, honestly, change communities and change lives together. It starts with our first responders. Yeah.
And, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, most, cops are like toys in a Cracker Jacks box. We're all different. But, for the most of the time, if you acknowledge them to say hello, how are you? And thank you. Believe me, it means a lot to each and every one of us. It really does. I got that probably 5 times today. We're lucky here in Tulsa. We get a lot of that, but probably in other communities, it's not near as much. It needs to be better. It doesn't say anywhere in the rule book that you can't be nice to people.
Nope.
And that goes a long ways. And actually, one of the things that when you're feeling better and you're out there and you're getting in better shape, man, you just feel, it just makes you feel so good all the way around. And Yeah, I need to get back there, man. I need to get back there and get back into the swing of things. But do you see, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell why I think this guy's great. He's a hero. You're a hero to a lot of people, and you don't even know it, man. You do know it, but you don't know the magnitude. It's a lot bigger than what you even can realize. And your wife, like I said, man, I adore her. And she's just you're really lucky. She's absolutely an angel. I think the world of her as well. So what's in the future? I mean, like I said, you're building this thing. There's several books you've written. I think 6 is what I read. What for the person that's watching this? What do you recommend? Is there a book that somebody that they wanted to start getting to know what you're about, and like the beginner book of what you're talking about? For somebody, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a first responder, definitely go get the free book, ffrbook.com. But on coachjcstore.com, I actually have 6 books. They're all based around personal development. Some are for health and fitness. Some are for success. Some are building a personal brand. We've been blessed to build, personal brand businesses, coaching businesses and speaking and podcasts. And we teach other people how to do that. Other ones are just about success, and they're all based around mental conditioning and personal development, right? I'm a big believer in that, Jason. You cannot lead others. Or let me say it this way. You can only lead others at the level you're willing to lead yourself. You have to be in control of yourself before you can control your performance. So I talk a lot about human behavior. I talk a lot about being multifaceted, not one-dimensional. You got to be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's what fit for duty, fit for life is, right? If I'm winning on the job as a first responder, but I'm losing all these other areas. So I think it depends where you're at in life. If you're really at a place where you say, man, I want to take back the power of my life and I want to start winning at a higher level, and we have the Win All Day playbook. It's a playbook I wrote during COVID. I put our entire coaching model in there, and it's how to absolutely win and build the winner you were born to be in 90 days. And I break down my entire routine from pregame, how to develop your vision, your purpose, why you do what you do. And then we get into identity, who you are. And then we get into the do. What am I going to do? The plays I'm going to run every single day to become who I need to become. Because here's my take on life, Jason. I believe everybody listening and watching right now has a huge calling on their life. You weren't just placed on this earth just to exist. Here's this stat that's crazy. By the time we're 35 as human beings, over 95% of people, by the time they're 35, are going through life unconsciously, meaning they're just numb, going through the motions of life. Think about that. What a tragedy to get to the end of your life and say, oh my gosh, I never tapped in to my full potential. Right. And so everything I do is about how do we get you out of your own way, get you driven again, get you excited about a vision, what you want, get you excited about a purpose. Show me a man with no passion. I'll show you a man with no purpose. And then how do I become who I was called to be, and then go do the things I need to do? Stop playing it safe. Get outside of your comfort level and go win. There's people on the other side that need what you have. So I would say if you're at a place where you just want to win at a higher level and be more and achieve more, the Win All Day playbook is 100% the answer. In 90 days, you'll radically transform your life.
Yeah. Who are the, aside from the first responders specifically, who's somebody that you really are inspired by in life, whether it be like an inspirational speaker or a motivational speaker, or that person that's out there, who really is somebody that drives you, that you're just like, man, they figured it out. That's what I want. Yeah. Because you're impressive already, man. I mean, you are that person for a lot of people, but who is it for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I told you earlier when my story, and after that police officer interaction with that police officer, down and out, and I got home and I picked that book up somebody gave me. It was called Awaken the Giant Within. It was by Tony Robbins. And I read that one sentence that said, the meaning of anything in life only has a meaning you choose to give it. And I was able to create a new story for my life. And I just started to do what he said in the book. And he talked about how, life's not about what happens to you, but it's about how you respond. And you get to choose the meaning and how to control your emotions and put yourself. And Tony Robbins at that time became a mentor from a distance, and then became a mentor in person. And I followed everything he did. I went to his seminars, and I started to model what he did. And he's one of the top motivational speakers, a great philanthropist, has businesses worth $5 billion He's just a person I look at that says, okay, he's not one dimensional. He's winning in all these areas. So I would tell you this, there's a lot of people I look to for advice and inspire me, but he's the number one that I've followed as long as I have, and really just he's become a mentor of mine. And it really radically changed my life. And so if I modeled anybody, and a lot of what I do is based off of what I learned from him, his coaching programs, his seminars, and just how he does life, not just in business. So that's the one, Tony Robbins, without a doubt.
What kind of a timetable are you looking at for the program to expand to a lot of these other states that you've got listed? Because I mean, like I said, I mean, you've got states from coast to coast that are on there, and I think that's incredible. I didn't realize. I knew you were exploring some other places, but I didn't realize how many places you were actually looking at, and I think that's awesome. And I have no doubt that it's going to be tremendously successful. So, what's in the near future as far as expansion for your company?
It's a great question. We actually started that right before, the COVID, right? And then COVID kind of put that on a halt, because our business model for the nonprofit Fit First Responders is a 501c3. We go out and fundraise. We have amazing partners. We've raised over $1.4 million to serve those that serve us. And so that's why we're allowed to do it at such a deep discounted rate. First responders, really, it's just some skin in the game, $25 online. They could do it virtual. But after when COVID hit, we pivoted, and because our model is take it and incorporate it into already established like gyms or programs. And so we put that on hold, and we built out our online model. So the cool thing about that, Jason, even if we're not in a city that you're in right now, we are expanding, but we have a whole online model where we can deliver an online curriculum, a portal you'll log into, you'll have a call with a coach, you'll have mentorship, you'll get everything that the first responders are getting in Tulsa, right? And except you're going to get it virtually. And so now we have that. So that's really what we've been pushing, because we can reach a larger population of first responders. And we've served now over 4,000 first responders, 78 different agencies, and that's locally throughout Oklahoma. And then we served over 48 more that are national. So we've worked with first responders. We go in, we do trainings, we do speaking, and then we have the program where actually agencies, fire, police, medics, and now our veterans division, they could take our program and incorporate it into their actual department, which is super cool. And we train up like a coach and a liaison within their department to further the mission to assure that their first responders are fit for duty, fit for life.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised, and I'm just a slick sleeve officer. Nobody really cares what I think, but in reality, I'm a little surprised that some departments haven't just kind of bit the bullet, so to speak, and pay this for their officers. If they check a box, yes, I want that little extra, and because I mean, there's such a benefit to that employee. Even if the department just paid that $25, they're going to call in less. They're just going to be less workman's comp claims. Yep. You're going to have a happier employee, which means less complaints. There's just such an upside all the way around. Are there any departments that have actually done that or explored that idea?
The more of them not incorporating the program like fully in, but we've done trainings. We've done 1-day trainings, 2-day trainings, weekly trainings, a ton of that. And then recruiting within the first responders. But yeah, we've pushed to try to get agencies to buy into actually incorporating the program internal. All the reasons you just said are absolutely key, right? Yeah, retention, culture, workers' comp, listen, there's twofold to this. From a business perspective, yes, agencies and cities and municipalities can save a ton of money on workers' comp and insurance and all that stuff. That's given. We already proved that model in Tulsa. If I told you the amount of money that we saved when we document everything, it's incredible. But put that aside, right? It's more about, I think, from a culture perspective, departments and agencies saying to the first responders this: listen, here's the bottom line. Maybe we're not going to hire more police officers. Maybe we're not going to hire more firefighters, but we're going to show you that we care more about you than just another number. It's not just a name with a badge. We're going to invest in you as a person. And that's what's most important. That's what I believe. If you want to be a great leader, build great leaders. And so that's where I push this and say, hey, listen, let's make sure they're not just fit for duty, but then going home and losing in every other area of life. Let's build winners. And you know what? When these people are happier and they're more excited and they're more fit and they're mentally clear, they show up to work as a better police officer and they bring a better player to the game, right? And so it's a no-brainer for departments. It's an absolute no-brainer. Every department we worked with, they've seen great transformation, and everybody has said that, yeah.
Yeah, I was over here. I may be wrong on this calculation, but I calculated it, what this would cost the department per hour, average 160 hours a month. And you divide that by, it's like 15 cents an hour is what this benefit would cost the department. And look at what you would get on the backside. I think it'd be really innovative. So if you're one of those departments, believe me, I especially the smaller departments where it'd be easy. And it's not like an entire expense. You'll have a lot of employees that won't do it no matter what. But man, you'd have several that I think what a little benefit that would be. Anyway, maybe somebody out there could think about that and give it a try, But and the other thing let's talk about this branding thing you got going on, because I happen to notice that and that was interesting to me. And that's something that you relatively started, I don't know, probably within the last couple of years, maybe. So something along those lines.
Are you saying the personal branding, like branding?
Yeah, that's interesting to me. But how did that come about, and is that taking off?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do, the personal branding is basically we create an academy, right? And so we've had people come to me and say, okay, hey, we know you were $400,000 in debt, you were suicidal, you were depressed, you were down and out. How'd you go from that to actually writing 6 books, to speaking on some of the largest stages, to doing everything you've done? And so all we did is we started to show people, and it started to work. And when it started to work, we actually put together an online academy, right? And what we tell people is every single person has a gift and a calling, right? And you could take that gift and that calling and you could actually help people and profit from it, right? And so we have an academy where we build entrepreneurs, right? We help you launch your purpose-driven personal brand business, taking your skills, your knowledge, your wisdom, what you feel you're called to do along with your passions, and showing you how to package all of that so that you could go make your greatest impact on the world and coach or consult and speak, and write books, start a podcast. I think so many people have something, a gift, ability, and they just hold it inside because they get stuck just working a 9-to-5 job. And they're like, man, I know that I have more. I have this passion, this purpose, but I'm lacking fulfillment. I believe success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And so many people are so busy making a living that they haven't been able to make a life, right? And we spend so much time, so many people, not you, not me, working a job that we hate. And many people just go through life unfulfilled, punching a clock, and get to the end of their life and say, oh, what if, or if only. And so we take people through this experience where we help them build that entire, everything that I've built, a package, a brand, who you are, what you stand for, what you're about, to ultimately go and make your greatest impact on the world and help people through coaching, consulting, podcasts, and books and stuff like that.
And what's the podcast, or I'm sorry, what's the website that they can go and they can explore this on their own when we're done here? What is that site that is the best site that's going to explain all of the different options that are available to them?
Yeah, so the best site is coachjc.com. If you go to coachjc.com, you could get to any of the things we're doing from there. That specific site is winalldaypersonalbranding.com. But if you go to coachjc.com, it'll say, hey, where do I start? You click there. It has our curriculums, our programs, our books, everything. And you can make a decision. What's best for me? Where do I need to win in life right now? We do have an amazing podcast, Jason. We do that. We interview guests as well once a month, some awesome guests. It's all based around personal development and self-mastery and growth. But Monday through Friday, I drop a winning word of the day. It's just 5 minutes. Monday through Friday, every morning, I just hit you with something powerful, empowering, but a skill that you could adopt and take with you and actually take to the real life. And so that's something that's awesome. It's just called Win All Day with Coach JC. You get that on any podcast platform. I tell everybody, start there. It's me. It's like you don't need coffee in the morning. You're going to have me just yelling at you, motivating you for 5 minutes, but also practical, tactical things that you could do to win in every area of your life. So that's a good resource. Free, obviously. That's a great resource.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems is that people myself included to an extent, is people they get impatient. They want results like now, and it's a process. And really, I know I've heard you guys say this a million times. Diet is half the battle. I mean, if you're not doing the diet, all the working that you're doing, all that working out stuff is going to be, you're not going to get the results that you deserve, from all the working out.
Yeah, you're 100%.
And that's the one thing that I'll say about your whole program, and I hope that the people that are tuning in, because I'm kind of checking out some of the I'm checking out the comments and so forth. I hope you're getting the picture of, and one of the things, JC, is a lot of people that just starting this podcast, that right there, I think the average number of podcasts before people to say, screw it, I'm done, is like 5 podcasts. It's like 5 or 6.
That's
and
it.
People give up, and this is number 38, and with each one of them, I the reason why I do it, I get inspired and I learn from people that are like you, that are in my stable of friends, that I just absolutely, I know I could call you anytime. Even if I'm not seeing you up there, I already know that if I needed something, I could call you. And we've been to the same events together from time to time with other like-minded people that are really influential people within the community. And those are the kind of people that I want in my world. And so, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I can't say this enough. This is something that, hey, it doesn't cost you a dime to just check out and see what he's got going on in there. If you were thinking about a podcast, or so, I probably need to check it out, because it would just make it. It would take this to number 6 or wherever we're standing on our ratings to number 1. I have no doubt. But literally, so what other kind of advice would you give to people if they're hesitant? And listen, he's not on here to sell things. He's on here to just inspire people to be the best people that they can be. And if this might be something that you might be able to do to. It's the little things. And that's what I like about your program, is that's the one thing. Master this one thing. Let's work on this. And then you move on to the next thing. And I love that. I think that's a really wise way to do it.
Yeah. I love it. And so when anybody that goes to our program, we ask them 4 powerful questions, Jason. And wherever you're at right now in life, I would challenge you, right? Ask yourself these 4 questions. There are 4 questions I believe you have to have clarity around to win in life. And they're part of our Fit for Duty program as well with our first responders. But it's what, why, who, and do. Right. The first question is what? You got to have a clear vision, right, of what you want. Helen Keller said it best. What's worse than being born blind is having sight with no vision. There's people we talk to every single day. They have no idea what winning looks like to them. And so we always start everybody there, right? And if you're listening today, right, you're kind of like, man, where do I go from here? What's next? Like, how do I win more in life? Like, you got to have clear vision. So I ask yourself, like, what does winning look like for you? Right? A vision gives you direction. It gives you clarity. It brings hope. It brings faith. And so you've got to have a clear vision, right? Why? Right? If we have a clear vision, we know what to focus on, right? And what we focus on grows, right? And so I see so many people that are just focused on the wrong things, right? They're focused more on what they don't have rather than what they do have. They're focused more on what's wrong rather than what's right. They're focused more on what they can't control more than what they can control. It's all about perspective. So that's the first question. What does winning look like for you? Meaning, what do you want, right? You got to have clear goals. You got to know exactly, this is what I'm after. This is how it will be. The second question is why. And then the third question is who. The last question is do. And I would say the second question is one of the most important, why. That's about purpose. It's about mission, right? And so I would ask you right now, if you're listening, like, what's your why? What's your mission, right? What's your purpose? The greatest force in life is a soul on fire. So many people I talk to every single day, they think they need a new coach, a new trainer, a new diet, a new spouse, right? A new career, a new boss, a new a business. Like, I would challenge all of that. Many times you don't need anything new. You just need a new purpose about why you do what you do. And when you have a purpose, like, you show up different. I'm talking about a purpose, a mission to make what's in front of you stronger than what's behind you, to make what's inside of you bigger than what's outside of you, to make what you want greater than your greatest excuse. And I said it earlier, I believe everybody listening today is here on purpose with a purpose, but purpose fuels passion. It gets you excited. You bring a different energy when you're showing up on purpose with a mission rather than just punching a clock. I believe that's why most people just go through life low energy and perform at a low level. They don't have a purpose. So you got to know what you want. You got to know why you want it. You got a purpose. And then you got to know who you are. I'm talking about identity, right? A lot of people, they have life hit and they go through a traumatic situation like I did with my daughter, and it steals who we are. And we think that all of a sudden our identity is in our past mistakes or in what we do. The greatest belief I believe you could have, this is my personal opinion, is a belief in God. The second greatest belief is a belief in you. You will never rise higher than your belief in you, right? And so you've got to learn how to bring back a belief in you, right? And we do that, and we have strategies for that. Why? Because you're going to show up with a different confidence. You're going to show up with a different energy. And so I would just tell you right now, that's where I'd start. What do you want? Clarity around what you want. Why do you want it? Clarity around the purpose and the mission of why you do what you do. And if you're confused right now, I'm going to give you a purpose right now. Easiest thing for you right now. Your purpose is to become the best version of you. Develop your God-given gifts and then give them back to the world. And I promise you, as you do that, you'll feel purpose-driven, fulfilled, and mission-driven. And I'm telling you, bring a lot of fulfillment in life. And then the last question is, what do I do? Right? What, why, who, and do. And what do you do? Yeah, like, listen, faith without works is dead. You got to work. You got to put the work in. If you want to change your body, you want to change your relationship, you want to build a brand, whatever it is, you got to put the work in. You got to have a game plan. That's what I said earlier. If you're confused where to start, get the playbook. I mapped those 4 questions out with you and give you exactly what to do every single day for 90 days that you want the vision.
Yeah. Hey, Teresa, you want his energy? Well, it's easy. You just gotta work for it a little bit. It doesn't take much. You got to work for it. And it isn't. And Phyllis had said that your enthusiasm is very inspiring. And I completely agree. It is inspiring. I'm ready to get out and go to the FFR right now because of your freaking,
let's go.
Every time I listen to you, JC, it's that way. Every time, man, and that's what I love about it.
I'm grateful.
Seriously, man, I think we're blessed to have you here. I really do. Do people understand why I bring people like this on this show? I try to bring people in here that are positive and are moving mountains. And that's what it's about. I'm not interested in the doom and gloom and controversial stuff and all this, that, and the other and hating on people. Believe it or not, I've been a cop for 26 and a half years, and I still like people, and I still can smile and so forth. But this is what's good about it, man. And I love this because you're bringing these ideas to people, and it's right there. And like I said, if you're a first responder, take advantage of that. You can get a free book, and the book is good. It's a good read, and it's worth. One of the questions that behind the curtain, Amanda, she's wanting to know, what's one of those. Your schedule is intense, right? You have to be overwhelmed at times. So, I mean, I know that not every day is freaking awesome for you. You go through, you're human. You have moments where you're just like, what are we doing? This isn't working. And you got to have those moments. So what do you do when you're getting overwhelmed with that kind of stuff? You have a good team assembled. That's probably part of your success, right? Having those underneath.
I mean, I think this, number one, what doesn't get measured doesn't get moved. Right? What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. In the playbook, I actually map out every 15 minutes for you. Like, you got to have a schedule, right? And you got to run those plays. But I would say this as well. I practice what I preach. I mean, every single morning I have a morning routine where I learned years ago how to put myself in an emotionally peak state, a winning state. See, most people, Jason, on a daily basis, we're led by feelings and emotions. And so you got to go into training. Right? Every action originates with a thought. And as human beings, we have over 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And studies have been shown that over 80% of those thoughts are negative thoughts, the same old automatic negative thoughts. Too many people spend too much time listening to those thoughts. You got to learn how to condition your mind so that you no longer are moved by feelings and emotions, and how to put yourself in an emotional peak state. So, do I have bad days? Yes. Do I have problems like everybody else? Yes. But what I tell everybody is this: the difference between me and the average person, most people out there, I learned, because I have a system and a process and trained at it, how not to stay in that too long. Most people right? Something happens, they have emotions, and all of a sudden they stay there too long, they get depressed, they get hopeless, and they allow that emotion to dictate and determine what they do. I have a system to get out of that so I don't stay there long. And again, you've got to train. You've got to train your mindset. You got to train your body. When you put yourself in a peak state, you start to see problems as possibilities. You start to see obstacles as opportunities. You start to realize life doesn't happen to me. Life happens for me. You start to show up and act as if it's impossible to fail. And I would tell anybody watching right now, you don't have to win the whole game at once. You won't. All you have to do is win today. Today plus today plus today equals winning. Right. And if you could just win today, become the best version of you today, physically, mentally, emotionally, spirit, listen, you'll stack wins, compounding interest. You'll look back in a year, 90 days, your whole life will look different. But don't get overwhelmed by the current situation. Don't be moved by what you see in the natural. Believe that you can do it. Believe that you can have it. Believe that you can be it. Belief can move mountains. But you got to be committed. You got to be committed to live today, to create the tomorrow that you really want. And the greatest version of you is the most disciplined version of you. I'm telling you right now, the disciplined version of you is the greatest version of you. So I have routines. Yes. I'm in training. Yes. I do the same thing every day, but I'm very disciplined and consistent, and I act against how I feel. I don't allow emotions to dictate and determine what I do. If you do, you'll just be a constant roller coaster in life, and they'll pull you away from your goals, your dreams. You'll lose focus, and you'll take your eye off the prize.
Can people go and check out your podcast and just tune in, or is that something that's part of the program? Is that something they can do? Oh, man, awesome. See,
100% free, man. We just dropped, 99th episode today.
699?
699th episode today. We interview a guest every month, but I do a winning word of the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You just go to Win All Day with Coach JC on any podcast platform, download it, no matter what phone you're on, and just hit play. And I'm going to be yelling at you every morning, motivating you, inspiring you. It's 100% free.
I'll tell you what, as a homework assignment to the listeners that are in here today, why don't we just try this as a homework assignment? Tune in, try it. You can follow him on Instagram and tune into his. I'm going to do it because I'm curious. I don't know that I think I've listened to one, but it's been a while. Tune into his and tune into mine. And then you can get double positive good stuff coming your way. And man, that's really awesome, dude. I'm serious. I cannot thank you enough for being here, JC. I know you were a very busy guy, and you were somebody that's been on my top tier people that I was like, gotta have him. I've seen a lot of some of the best comments that I've seen in a long time with you on here. I'm just stoked. So, and once again, you can check out his other programs where you can do it virtually. So if you live in Canada, Amanda, you're up in Nova Scotia, you can, what's stopping you, girl? You can be a part of it, or wherever you are at. Awesome. It's awesome stuff. And I appreciate everybody's. Yeah. Well, we'll see, Sally. You just said you're going to do it. So prove it. All right. And I'll tell you what, I got to tell you one last thing. There was one time when I was there. This is how much of a transformation I got while I was there. They have a rope that hangs from the ceiling. And they usually have it hanging way up there, but then they'll drop it occasionally for those moments. And I'm going to tell you, one time I knew it was working because I was able to, believe it or not, me of all people, I know I look like a beast, but in reality, I was able to pull myself up to the ceiling of this thing, and it's way up there. So I knew it was working. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else you want to finally say? Give them one inspirational final thought, JC. This is it.
I would say this. Two things. Number one, Jason, we love you. We value you. My wife has me watching First 48, not for the show, but because of you. You're the best at what you do in the whole world. We honestly, everybody knows that. But more importantly than that, man, you have a heart of gold, compassion, empathy. You love people, and you care so much about people. And we're just honored, man. I know the listeners and the viewers, everybody on the show is probably saying the same thing. Happy birthday, man. Thank you so much
buddy.
For giving me the opportunity. And here's what I'd say. I'm going to give you this. We do this at every session. We do this online, every speaking engagement. If you are dealing with overwhelmness, if you're dealing like the question that came in, you're listening too much to all the noise on a daily basis and you're trying to figure out, how do I train my mind? One of the quickest ways It's to silence the noise, to shut it up, is you speak. When you speak, you can't speak something and be thinking something different. Your mind can only go in one dominant direction at a thought. So I want to end everybody today with the Win All Day Winning Confession. And if you're listening right now, you could just repeat after me, because there's power in your words. And when you speak, you're going to shut up the noise. You got to stop listening. You got to talk more, listen less to all the negativity. So this is the Win All Day Winning Confession. We have one for first responders as well, but it goes like this. If you're listening, you can repeat after me. Today is my day.
Today is my day
of me being the best version of me. I'm here on purpose. I have a purpose. I am strong. I am passionate. I am fearless. I choose faith. I am a winner. I will win and win all day. Use that, say it on repeat, and you'll silence the noise and you'll be the winner you were created to be. Thanks again, JC.
Thanks, JC. You're the bomb. Give Jody a hug from me and tell her I'll see her. I'll see her sometime in the near future. I think the best of you guys are both awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, no episode next week. Remember that. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Spread the word. Check out his. You can catch the recordings later. Check out my YouTube page. Check out his. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here, and thank you for all the birthday wishes. Take us out, Amanda.